Hello again, and welcome back to Nonprofit Marketing with Purpose. My name is Monica Pitts, and today I'm going to share with you the third part of our Zero to Marketing Superhero series, which is time-saving tips. Now, to be a real marketing superhero, you have to do two things, just two. You don't have to have an MBA or a PhD in marketing. You don't have to have billions of years of experience, okay? You just have to get the work done and make sure that it worked, right? Because we've been talking in the past few episodes about how getting started in your marketing is really about just getting started, like doing the things that need to be done. They're not going to be perfect to begin with. You start where you are. But then I realized that to get the stuff done, you're like, wait a second, Monica, I hardly even have time to do my job. How am I going to get more stuff done? How am I going to get this marketing stuff done? And that's where this episode is going to come in really handy, because my team and I have been rolling out marketing for the last 15 years, and we work really hard on being efficient. We actually have a member of our team, Stacy, who is like ridiculous. She's just like, oh, everything must be more efficient. And she's always looking for like that next little tweak. And we really integrated that mindset into the culture of our company. And we're always working on cultivating that mindset. How do we become more efficient? How do we get the work done still at that same quality? You want great stuff, but how do we do it more efficiently? So I'm going to share with you the way that we develop processes that help us get our work done. And I'm also going to share with you tools, low-tech tools, design tools, and medium-tech tools that you can use to supercharge your marketing efforts and get more stuff done in less time, so that way you can get back to doing what's most important for your organization, which is serving your mission. So let's get to business. You're on a mission, and you just need more people to know about it. And whether you're brand new to marketing or a seasoned pro, we are all looking for answers to make marketing decisions with purpose. I'm Monica Pitts, a techie, crafty business owner, mom, and aerial dancer who solves communication challenges through technology. This podcast is all about digging in and going digital. I'll share my marketing know-how and business experience from almost 20 years of misadventures. I'll be your backup dancer so you can stop doubting and get moving towards marketing with purpose. So here we go, time-saving tips. So the first tip that I'm going to give you, you're not going to like. You just want me to give you tools. I know this because I am the same way. I love a good tool because it makes my work so much easier. But here's the deal. There is no Band-Aid for process. There is no skinny pill for process. Process makes perfect. It's just like everything else in your organization. The things that you do regularly, the things that have systems to support them, those are the things that you do really, really well. The things that are out of process, those are harder. They take more time, they take more thought, and they often have hiccups in them and don't go as well because you couldn't foresee all of the challenges that you might face within your work. So really, the next piece of getting your head on straight so you can be a marketing superhero is documenting and embracing a process for your marketing. Because, like I just said, when it comes to marketing, your process, it makes perfect. You have to get the work done, and then you have to make sure that it worked. But that process is the system that's going to allow you to get the work done, because just setting a goal isn't enough. You actually need to have a system to get there. Because, you don't just sit there and say, well, I want to run a marathon this year, and then you never run until you get to the starting line. And you cannot, if that's what you did, you couldn't actually expect to finish the thing, right? Because that system does not work. And this is coming from not a full marathoner, but a regular half marathoner. That system does not work, and it doesn't work in your marketing either. So even on the simplest thing, right? Let's say that you're just designing a little postcard, or you're going to design a graphic for your social media. If you don't think through the elements that need to go on that graphic, if you don't think about what size it is and what day you need it by, then you could design it without something important and then have to go in and revise it. You could design it at the wrong size and then have to go in and revise it. You could start too late and not have it done on time. And all of these things will take you more time than taking a step back to begin with and thinking through the process of how you are going to get all the information out and ready to do your marketing. So you're going to start by documenting your process. You can put it in a spreadsheet. You can make a bulleted list in a Google Doc. You can put it in a project management software, but regardless of where you decide to house it, you need to make sure it's someplace that everybody can get to it. And that's one of my low-tech tools is everything Google, and I'll explain more about how we use it in a second. So the way that we go about getting through processes and getting them out the first time is we just have a brainstorming session to figure out what needs to be done. And then we break the project into milestones to signify each stage of development. So I'm a big picture person. I go through the milestones pretty quickly. Here's the stuff that needs to be done. And then I have to usually have some help to get all those tasks to guide people through each milestone. Because until I'm actually doing it, I don't think about what each one of those little tasks are. You can then explain the outcomes of each of your tasks, and then determine who on your team has the talents that are best suited for each task, because you don't have to do all this stuff. You can hand it off to somebody else. And then, of course, you would record how you're going to measure the success and know that it's working. So measuring success could be recording how much time it took you to do the task, or it could just be, did people like it? Did they comment? Did they share? Did they open the email, right? I just went over those things really, really fast. And for those of you who actually really do want to make your marketing easier and you believe me that a process is the thing that's going to do it, because it is, my friends, it is. Take it from the woman who likes to do something different every single time that she does it. Man, it is not efficient, right? Heck, I just spent 10 minutes before I recorded this podcast because I was like, I really hate the fact that the space bar is play and it's not also pause. I wonder if I can change that in my program, because it would save me so much time from going back and forth and finding the audio where I just wanted to edit. And by golly, you can't actually change that. No, you can't. But I just spent the time doing it. And it's just because I'm always looking to make that process better. But I also tend to do things maybe slightly differently every time, which is why I have to make a process and follow it, right? Because I'm too creative for my own good. So let me repeat those things for you. When you're starting on a process that you've never done before, you just have a brainstorming session, figure out what needs to be done. Then break the project into milestones to signify each stage of development. Then make a set of tasks to guide people through each milestone and explain the outcomes of those tasks. And then determine who's going to do each task, and then record how you're going to measure the success to know that it's working. And I have some examples of this in my nonprofit marketing plan template. So if you haven't downloaded that already, you can download it and you can look through some examples from like a social media perspective or a print design perspective, things that you're doing often likely in your organization, and see what those tasks look like in our organization, MayeCreate, that is, in my company. Okay, so then you're going to get your process relatively, roughed out, and then consider what happens when things don't go right, because people often overlook this part, and then your whole system's going to fall apart. So what happens when the boss decides that they're way too busy to not review the marketing, right? And they just don't do it. Now, if they don't review it, then you're not going to get it done on time, and you know that it needs to be done. And if you're not empowered to make a decision, then they won't have it when they need it. So are they going to hold you accountable for the mistakes that they missed by not reviewing the work? This is a conversation that we have with all of our retainer clients, especially those that we provide social media, online ad management, or even, people that have ads that are on a deadline all the time going out to publications. So they know if they don't review the items, then we're going to send them on time and we're going to publish them anyway, because we're not going to let them get away with hindering their own success by not being committed to the outcomes of their projects. Get your boss on board for the same thing, because some bosses, they just want to have their hands in everything and they think that they need to just, tweak every loving thing. And that's not awesome, but it is what it is. And so if that's a system that you're living by and you know that they're super busy, then make sure that they buy in. And oftentimes too, to take a step back, if you have a boss like that, if they're really busy and you had them review the stuff a few times, then they're going to know that you're doing a good job. Like if they're cognizant and aware, they're going to know that you're doing a good job, and they'll start to trust you because they've reviewed your work, and then they're going to kind of let you have your head. But at that point, you need to start thinking like your boss and reviewing your work like you're them to make sure that it's still awesome, because it's not just that you're not awesome and your boss is more awesome than you. It's that you have to take a step outside yourself to look back at the work that you just did to make sure that it actually meets all the criteria. As designers and creatives, we get attached to the things that we're working on, and we lose sight of some of the details or some of the purpose just because we start seeing things as shapes and colors, which is really, really fun, but then also from an art director's perspective can be pretty detrimental, because your marketing needs to work. It doesn't just need to be pretty, right? Okay, so make sure that you have that conversation. And then once your system is made, you're gonna wanna live by it, right? Print it out, stick it to your wall. And then, I mean, that's what I do. And then if I'm feeling lost or I don't know where to go next, I just go back to the process. So right now, for the first few months of the year, I have a different process for my marketing. I have a Google Doc that I made, and I have pinned it to my browser. So every time that I open my browser, that process is right there. That way I don't have to open up the file, I don't have to look for it, and I can go right back there. And it says what I'm supposed to do every day of the week. And that is what I need right now to make sure that I can get all of my work done and get it done right. So one of the great things about having your system in a Google Doc is that you can revisit it often and it won't get lost. So some things that will also help you in making your process awesome is if you let the plan sit and then revisit it. So you think that it's going to work this way, but then in actuality, it doesn't really work that way, right? And so you're going to not think of some of the same details today as you will yesterday. So get it ironed out and then go look at it again. The other thing to do is update the plan as you go. This is something that we do all the time with every single project that we do at MayeCreate. So we have all these projects, but then when they don't go quite right, or when we think of something that would make them go better, we put that in the process document. And this is something that you can do all the time, right? So as you're going, you're going to update the plan. And that's what's so nice about having it in a breathing document, a living document like a Google Doc, is that everybody can go in and adjust it. If you're just sharing a Word document back and forth, you're going to have 100 versions of it, which sucks, because then you could open up the wrong one and work in it, and that's not really what we're after, right? We want the same process. And then the other thing that I do a lot is when I create a plan, I then go over it with someone who is not involved with making the plan and is a total what-ifer. So my husband is a what-ifer. And I also have a few other what-ifers on staff because they're super detail-oriented people. Their skill set and their strengths are very different from mine. And I need them to balance me out and make sure that I'm doing a good job and cover all my bases. So like just this afternoon, I'm going to sit down with Erica and we're going to go through the system that I made for all of our emails and all the automations for all of our emails, because I think I thought it all through. But I'm also not very detail oriented and I may have forgotten a thing or two. And so she's a great person that's going to ask me lots of questions and will help me uncover the things that maybe I didn't think about to begin with. So go over your process with a what-ifer. So there you have it. The first big step to becoming a marketing superhero is making sure that you have your head on straight. And we talked about the beginnings of that in our first episode. Making sure that you understand the basics of marketing and reviewing your assets, setting your goals, understanding what success looks like, and then getting in touch with your target audience to make those buyer personas to build what you're going to do around. But then the next part of it, right, is getting it done. You have to get the work done. And the most sure way to get the work done is not all these tools that I'm going to talk about next. It's having a process, a system that will allow you to get it done. And you are not the only person that has to work within that system. You can have volunteers help you, staff, interns, a virtual assistant, whatever it takes to get the work done, right? But we also understand that the work has to get done for the marketing to happen. So to be marketing superheroes, you have to get the work done and make sure that it works, right? And the way to get the work done is to plan it and then make a process and follow it. Okay. I know I keep repeating myself, but of all the things that I've learned in running my own business for the last 15 years, that is the biggest thing. Process. As soon as we get out of process, everyone feels out of control. And while we still get the work done, it's just not nearly as easy, and we don't get it done as efficiently, and we lose money on those projects. And that's not a fun thing to feel. Okay. So enough of all that, right? I hope that helps you with process making. Remember that there are resources for you in the marketing plan template that you can follow that will help you better understand processing. All right. So now let's talk about these tools, because I love talking about tools. So the first thing are low-tech tools that anyone can use, anybody at all. So the Google Suite. This is my biggest tool for getting work done, is Google Suite. So Google Docs, Sheets, Calendar, Slides. Google Slides can be used to create outlines, presentations, also graphics. You can save anything in Google Slides as a PNG or a JPEG and use it in any of your marketing. So, and I'll talk more about design in a second, but definitely don't shy away from anything that's easy for you to use. Now, the nice thing about all these Google things is that they live out in the cloud, and so anybody can have access to them, which is really important when you're working on a team, right? So we have a team of 9, which means that we have people accessing files all the time, different files. Well, all those files have to live out in the cloud so that everybody can get to them. Because I might need the file that Tyler's working on today, and I might make edits to that same file. And I love the Google Suite, and it's actually free to you guys, so you know. So you're a nonprofit, so you get this stuff for free, which is awesome because I have to pay per user to have it. So, and I value it enough that I'm willing to pay per user to have it. So we use Google Docs to keep all of our processes in. And then we use Google Sheets to estimate times and projects. And then we use Google Calendar to schedule out all the work that we're going to do. Yep, it's that rudimentary. We have a project management system that we use. And every few years, I get this wild thought that maybe there's a better one out there. And I go look at them all. And then I'm like, whatever, this one's great. It does most of what we want it to do. And there's not another one that does everything that we want it to do. And the idea of changing systems actually makes me want to crawl back in bed and never get out again. And so we use Active Collab, in case you're wondering, for our project management system. And it works really well for us, right? But it does not have a scheduling component that allows us to schedule time the way that we want to. And so we just use Google Calendar for that. And we have a master calendar that we put everything on, and then we assign it to the people's calendars that are going to do it. And it's pretty awesome. Okay, so the next thing that will absolutely save you time are email templates. I'm telling you, if you are sending the same emails over and over again, you need to make a template and either edit the template every time that you send it, or maybe that email is so canned that you can just use it. So there's 2 different ways that you can use email templates. If you use Gmail like me, there's a service called Canned Responses. I say it's a service, but it's actually just like an app. It's inside of Gmail. You can go into your settings and turn it on, and then you can save any email as a canned response, which is an email template. And I just highlight the things that I know I'm going to have to change, and I make them yellow so that way they're very loud. And then also, though, our account service people have so many emails that they send on a regular basis that they just have a Google Doc that they have all those emails for each type of process in. So if you're in the web design process, then all those emails are in a Google Doc. And they actually revisit those emails regularly. Every time that they send one, if they find that it's incorrect, they just edit it, and they edit it in their Google Doc, so that way it's always right. So email templates are going to save you a ton of time. Now, also, if these email templates are something that you're going to use often, or if there is a spreadsheet that you're going to use a lot, a Google Doc that you're going to use a lot, or if you're going to review your Facebook ads a lot, whatever it is, I would suggest pinning it in Google Chrome. So I use Google Chrome. God, I sound like a Google salesperson. I am not a Google salesperson. I do not sell Google things. I just apparently worship Google. Well, I sort of have to because I build websites for a living. And if I didn't worship Google, then I would have no idea how to get those websites found. So either way, my brother, however, does sell Google products. So if you need something, you're going to have to go talk to Travis Schumacher over at Tranquility because I don't sell these things. He does. So I pin things in Google Chrome, and it helps me so much because then I don't have to go find all that stuff all over again. I have a Chrome app called Forever Pinned that I found. And what this does is it opens up my pinned tabs that I add every time that I open Chrome, regardless of what device I'm on, as long as I'm logged in as myself. Now, there is a setting on this darn thing that is called reopen tabs when a new window is created. Do not check that box, my friend. Don't do it. It will make very crazy things happen. When I checked the box, because I was like, oh, well, this must be how it works, right? Oh, no. I had stuff opening all over the place, like a poltergeist took over my computer or something. But the extension is pretty cool, and it does save me a lot of time because I don't have to go fishing around for all the websites I need on a daily basis. So right now, I have a tracking spreadsheet that I'm using for my Facebook ads and my downloads on my website that's pinned. I also have my schedule and process for the next 2 months worth of marketing pinned. I have my Facebook ads pinned, and I have my website appointments pinned. These are all things that I need access to on a regular basis, and you can do the same thing. Like, what are the things that you really need, right? Okay, the next thing that's going to save you a mountain of time is voice typing. Yep. I know. Like, for those of you who are not fast typers or who are more audio than you are anything else, like myself, voice typing will save you so much time. I'm not kidding. One day I was like, I really don't know how I'm going to get any more done in a day. I've got too many things to do. And then I thought, what's the thing that I spend the most time doing? Well, it was typing emails, typing blog posts, typing revisions to documents. All right, so instead of doing that, I decided I was just going to voice type it. Now, you're going to have to read over it, but I mean, it's great. So there is a built-in feature where you can voice type directly into your Google Documents. There's also a Chrome app that you can use that is called Voice-in Voice Typing that allows you to type in any form online. And then the thing that I probably use the most, though, is an app. It's called otter.ai, OTTER.ai. So you can dictate into Otter using your phone or using a microphone on your computer, and it's all stored online in the cloud, so you can get to it both from your computer or from your phone, and it will transcribe all of the stuff that you say to it. And it's fairly accurate. And then you can just export it and edit it if you're going to be doing a longer form document like a blog post. It works really well. Now, I actually use it to also transcribe all of our podcasts, which then turn into blog posts. And for that, you do have to pay for a subscription to it, but it's so accurate. It really does make things just so much easier. And then we can edit the podcast transcriptions and make them into blog posts for you to read, because I understand that some people don't want to listen, they just want to read, and that's good too. So 2 more low-tech tools for you, and their names are really, really similar. One is Loomly, Loomly. That is a social media scheduling tool. So you can create all of your social media at once and then schedule it to publish and go back and look at all your data in the same spot. It is so great to be able to do that, because every time I get into one of those user interfaces, I'm like, I don't even know where everything is. It's like it moves every 5 seconds, right? And it just can feel very overwhelming. So if you're not in social media all the time, it can be a lot easier to just use a system like Hootsuite is also a publishing system. Loomly, like I said, is the one that we use. It just saves me a lot of time and heartache. Loomly. And then the second one is called Loom, Loom. So this one's really good, especially if you're communicating back and forth with your team. What it does is it screencasts what's on your browser, and it also puts your face over in the corner. So you can talk back and forth to people and point to stuff and show them what you're talking about. So you can also use it to make like videos for your social media and stuff too, like quick little videos. Really cool stuff. Okay, so let's move on to design tools. My favorite design tool is probably Canva. And if you have not gotten the upgraded version of Canva, you are a nonprofit. You get it for free, so you should totally get it. Get the pro version. It's so great. In the pro version, you can use the magic wand. Yeah. And with the magic wand, you can take off the background of an image like by clicking. And it's pretty darn accurate. I did a happy dance because do you know how long? Oh, wait, you might know how long it takes to actually take the background off of a picture. It's ridiculous, right? And this makes it so incredibly easy. So that, and they have templates for you, which brings me to my second thing. Make a template. Make a template, make a template, make a template. Your templates in design are like, they're part of your process, right? So if you're going to do a series of Facebook Lives, make a template. If you're going to have a bunch of posts that are celebrating the same type of thing over and over again, make a template. It's okay to make a template and use it. That is building consistency. It's building a visual brand for your organization. You don't have to start from scratch every single time. Okay, you want things to look the same, really. Not exactly the same, but you want them to be similar enough that people can recognize them as yours. And the easiest way to make that happen is a template. Also, you can start with the most complicated thing first in design. It's the same thing with your marketing, right? I've told you a couple of times, start with your emails because they're the most complicated things that you're going to do because there's so many of them. And then you can break that into smaller pieces and use it. Right? And it's the same thing with design. So start with the most complicated thing first and then resize it and take stuff out. And Canva allows you to resize things. Now, another thing that I use actually fairly often for design is Google Slides. I know it sounds nuts, but I make a lot of presentations and then I can just save that slide as a graphic and I can use it in whatever I'm doing. And so if like for design, don't feel like you have to use the most complicated software because that's the software that all the designers use. I think that you should use the system that you are most comfortable with. Use it. There's nothing wrong with that, right? If you can make stuff look good in it, make stuff look good in it. Okay, so there is an app that I use a lot in Chrome that I really like, and it is called eyedropper. I almost said color picker. It was color picker and then I upgraded and I got a new one. It's called eyedropper. So what eyedropper does is it allows me to select colors on my screen, any screen, because the thing I don't always remember is exactly what color blue I used in the last ad, right? and in order to know that, half the time you have to like open up the document and click on it and make sure, or you just guess, and that's not good either. So that is one nice thing about the pro version of Canva is you can save a color palette, which will save you some time as well. But yeah, so the eyedropper tool is really cool and you can pick colors and it'll tell you what that color hexadecimal code is. Really fancy. It's not really fancy. It's actually very simple, but it makes life so much easier for you. Okay, so those are my design time-saving tools, which, like I said, use a template. It will make your life easier. Okay, and then my last type of tool, right? My slightly techie tools. So all of these tools hinge around automation. They're the things that allow you to stop doing every single task so that way you can get back to what matters most, right? So you don't necessarily have to have a lot of tech experience. You don't need to be able to write in code to use these scripts. You need to be able to be tech adventurous and think in if-then statements. If I do this, then this would happen. So the first thing that I think is absolutely worth taking a stab at automating is your email marketing. And I talked about this a lot in my last episode. Getting that RSS feed to send your emails into MailChimp. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just hop back over to the last episode because I talk about it actually quite a bit. It's going to save you so much time. You're going to put the information into your website. MailChimp is going to go look and see if there's anything new out there. If there is, it puts it in an email and it sends it out to your email list. It's magic, right? And it's going to save you so much time. Now, you're not going to have as much control as if you put all of your emails into a PDF. But friends, you don't need that much control. You need to get it done, all right? And I've seen some of those PDF emails and they are just straight up overwhelming anyway, right? So let's simplify it and give people little snippets and send them back to your website to read more. Because once they get to your website, then they have the opportunity to learn even more about the other things that you're doing. So really, you're doing yourself a huge favor by giving them less and allowing them to read what they're interested in back on the website. And then too, if you look back at your data from MailChimp, you'll see what they like and you'll see what they click on and you'll know what to write more of next time. But if you just give it to them all in a PDF, you don't know. And honestly, you don't even know if they read it or not. And so you could just be pouring a bunch of time out making this thing that really isn't the right thing for your audience. All right, so off my high horse on that. The next thing that you're going to want to do is when people sign up on your website to get an email, you want to automatically add it to your email service provider. So automatically add it to MailChimp. You also need it to automatically update in your, what do you guys call them? Donor management software? Yeah. Or the client relationship management software that you use, CRM, like Salesforce or something like that. So you want that to happen. And even if you have to pay somebody to help you with it, it will make life so much easier for you because you don't have to run around and reconcile all these lists. So make sure that those things are integrated. You can also automate an email that sends to them when they sign up, which is really nice. And then you can send them the most read email or blog posts that you have on your website, or just welcome them. And this is your first opportunity to deepen this relationship with them. Why would you not use it, right? And a lot of the times you can do this straight up from your website. You can just send it from the form. If they submit a form to join your email list, you can automatically send them an email right after they submit it. So just automating that process and starting the next step in deepening the relationship right there as soon as they sign up for your email list. Okay. So the next thing, and I just used this again the other day and I forgot how incredibly magical it is Zapier, Zapier. What Zapier does is it connects two different systems together without you having to program it. Yes. Okay. So right now, for example, what I have Zapier doing is every time that someone submits a form on my website for a specific form, it puts that information into a Google Sheet for me. And what that allows me to do is see if my marketing is working without having to log back into my website and sort through all the information. It's right there. It's in my Google Sheet. It also tells me every time that someone signs up for a specific list in MailChimp. So that way I know someone new is out there because I may have to go in and actually manually do something to them. Another thing it does is if someone signs up for a specific thing in MailChimp, it tells it not to send another email to them. See, it's kind of magical. So you can do so many different things with it. It connects all kinds of different applications together, and you can just go out and see, does this one talk to this one, and what does it do? And it saves so much time for many, many of our clients, and obviously myself as well. Now, the last tool I'm going to tell you about is a calendaring tool, because I find that one of the things that we spend the most time doing is making appointments. And you could use these calendaring tools to manage your volunteer calendar or your staff calendar, or even just set appointments for yourself. So the first one is Calendly, Calendly. So Calendly, for free, you can set up one type of an appointment and have people book appointments on your calendar. And you can also have it sync with your Google Calendar. So the appointments will show up on your Google Calendar, and it won't allow people to book over appointments that are already on your Google Calendar. It's pretty magic. The other thing that you can do is send people reminders for their appointments using the system, which is great, because if you're a person who's going out and manually sending emails to every person that you have an appointment with to remind them that they have an appointment, which people do that, they forget, right? This system is going to send them for you. It is so cool. Now, it doesn't do everything, and I actually found another system that I'm super pleased with. I ended up buying the pro package or whatever you want to call it. I think it might have been $200. So It's called Simply Schedule Appointments. Now, what Simply Schedule Appointments does is it integrates with my WordPress site. So if you don't have WordPress, this is not the right calendaring system for you. But it allows people to make appointments, and multiple people can make appointments in the same time slot up to a certain amount. It will send them text message reminders. It will send them email message reminders. And it allows you to get much more complicated in your time offerings. So I'm using Simply Schedule Appointments to schedule all of my office hours so that I can have multiple people in a group, and it will remind people at the right times and tell people what times they signed up for, because otherwise there wasn't a way to easily do it using the systems that I had. It saved me so much time. I was getting ready to have to make over 45 emails, to like automatic emails that we're going to send and remind people. So I was going to do the thing that I say to do. I was going to make a template and recreate the template and automate things. And then Erica on my team was like, Monica, you should really check out this Simply Schedule Appointments app. We used it on another client's website. I think it would solve your problems. And oh my God, that girl was so right. She was so right. It saved me so much time. I was like, Erica, I think I just saved myself like $500 by spending $200. She's like, well, that is exciting. And I thought so too. And we're also using it to schedule our free target audience workshops that we're offering in February, so that I could have multiple times and it would remind people at the right times. Because, I mean, I know that you guys are busy. You're not all available at the same time of day, and many of you are volunteers. And I mean, so I can't like expect everybody to show up at 9 o'clock on Monday, right? And I needed a way to remind people and do that easily. And this is doing it for me, and it's really cool, and it integrates with my website. So it has saved me so much time. I know it will save you so much time. Really, just any time that you can schedule those appointments that way, it's awesome. Okay, so I just thought of one more thing, actually. One more automation thing that's pretty cool. So if you have to send the same email to a bunch of people, you can actually mail merge an email from a Google Sheet into Gmail. Is that kind of mind-blowing? We use this feature a lot when we're scheduling annual reviews. So every quarter, we email our clients and we say, hey, this quarter we want to do your annual review. Will you go pick a time? Okay, so here's how this happens, though, is there's like 40 emails that need to be sent. And for somebody to just click and send, that's a lot of time. So we have the email. We have certain parts of it that we want to switch out for customized, personalized writing, and that mail merge lets you do it. And you can do it from the Google Sheet using your Gmail account, and it will send out customized emails to each one of those 40 people. And then we send them with a link over to the schedule appointments online system so that they can schedule their appointment, and it will send the reminders and it will automate for them. And that saves so much time. So when you're managing your volunteers, if you're trying to pull a bunch of people in, I mean, you can also, there's other systems too that do this kind of thing. I mean, what's the one that I always get from the school? Sign Up Genius. That's what it is. Sign Up Genius works really great too, and it's a free system that you can use to do all kinds of sign-ups and scheduling and that kind of thing. It's just not as customized as some of the ones that we like to use for our marketing, but it works really great for a lot of groups. Okay, so woo! I have geeked out for way too long about this stuff, my friends. As you can tell, I love my tools. I hope that you love them too. So check out some of those tools, the low-tech tools, the design tools, and the slightly techie automation tools, because they will save you so much time in your marketing. But I just want to remind you one more time that the real thing that's going to save you time in your marketing is not the tools. It's the planning. The planning of the things that you're going to do and the processes that you're going to follow. Those tools are part of your processes. That's what's going to make you successful, is that you can make a map from point A to point B and get there easily because you've thought through all of the roadblocks along the way. So just one quick reminder before I let you go. Remember, my goal this year is to help 1,000 nonprofits have less stressful and more successful marketing. And we're starting by focusing first quarter on making a plan. And that's why I'm talking to you about making a plan right now, right? So if you haven't already, go out and download the marketing plan template. It's free. It's on MayeCreate.com. It will give you many resources that we talked about in this episode today. And then after that, I really want to meet you. Sign up for my office hours. RSVP, they're totally free. You and a group of 4 other nonprofits will get together. You can ask me questions. And I learn so much by listening to the questions of others. So you're helping me as much as I'm helping you. I can't wait to hear all the challenges that I can help you solve in your marketing. It's super rewarding to me. You're literally giving me a gift when you come talk to me. So, not to be needy, but let's talk, right? So, get those questions answered. You are completely supported and you are not alone in this, all right? And then remember, later in February, we are having our target audience workshops that are also free to you, where we can outline your audience, because a great understanding of your audience is the cornerstone of a great marketing plan. We got to know who we're talking to make sure that we can connect with them. So stick with me here, friends. We're going to get those marketing plans together by March, all right? And I know that for some of you, DIY is not something that you're interested in. So just know that we do consulting at MayeCreate, and we also have a marketing plan workshop and consulting package that we're offering at the end of February that you can jump on board for and get your marketing plan ready and started, because I want this success for you guys, okay? I know you can do it. I know that change is hard, but I know that you can do this. And I'm here to support you through it, okay? All right, so have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for your time today. I really, really appreciate you, and you're allowing me to support you through this podcast and share this information with you. I hope you learned something. And until next time, go forth and market with purpose.